Hi, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Armchair Keepers of Arcane Secrets. I'm your host, Matt Ryan, and I'm joined, as always, by
Bob Geis. Still Bob Geis.
So, Bob, guys, we are on Volume 2 of the Masks of Nyarlathotep, Chaosium's great epic campaign in which the team of investigators goes up against the Elder God, Nyarlathotep. It says that right on the title.
It says it on the cover, so it's official.
We are so deep into this thing, like we can't get out of it.
No, it's going great. I've been on a bit of forced hiatus, so I'm going to jump right into my recap.
Now, is this episode 40, Bob?
Yeah, sure. 40,
all right.
41.
All right, I'm gonna try to keep my my interruptions.
It's all good. So I hadn't played in a bit, and so when we played last week, we were in Shanghai. We joined in media res on the way to Grey Dragon Island, right? And so I decided to throw a little monkey wrench into the works and have a boat battle, right? An exciting boat battle, right?
I think that sounds exciting.
It was, and it worked out wonderfully, right?
So wait. What boat are they on?
They're on some rando fishing trawler boat thingy, right? It doesn't matter.
Did you give it a title? Did it have a name?
No, it doesn't matter. It truly doesn't matter, and I'll get to that, right? So, but the boat that does matter is the Dark Mistress, Mistress that fueled by weird material vessel owned by Sir Aubrey Pinhu that is on its way to Grey Dragon Island. And in the text of that chapter is a brief mention that the captain can spot the other boat pursuing them. And I thought, well, that sounds great. That sounds great. So he's definitely going to spot it. So he did. He spotted the boat. He turned his vessel around and, basically came alongside. Again, there's basically nothing that any boat on the sea can do to outrun the Dark Mistress. It's super fast.
Right.
Easily caught up with them. The players saw it. I gave them a round or so to take some quick actions and try to, do some things. And then there they were, the Dark Mistress right there with Sir Aubrey's at Grey Dragon Island in my telling. But Dr. Robert Houston is on the deck there with the captain of the Dark Mistress.
Is this the first time they've seen Houston?
This is not the first time they've seen Houston. They encountered him earlier in Shanghai when they actually confronted him briefly in the warehouse of Ho Fong, where he did the whammy on them and sent them away on their business.
Whammy.
He gave them the whammy, right? And so there they are, come alongside. The first thing that happens, Matt, is that the captain opens up with a lightning gun, a Yithian lightning gun on their vessel, right? So, and essentially blows a hole in the side of it, right? So the vessel that the players are on is sinking, right? Sinking.
That's tension. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's very cinematic, right? So, and then the deranged crew of the Dark Mistress begins clambering over, and the players don't really know what to. How to take them. I mean, again, in the text, they're deep wind hybrids, but the way I've described them as these lumbering, sickly-looking individuals, my players are leaning toward them being zombies, right? So again, they kind of just flopped over clumsily into the water and then began clambering up on the side of the boat. And again, all this was happening, and the firm action troops, right, that were brought with them with Jack Brady and Shu Min.
So you got a whole crew. You got a whole team.
There's fighting going on. It's all very cinematic.
And how many players are you up to now? 6?
There's six players. Yeah, 6 players. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We were short a player, but it doesn't matter. And so all of that fighting between the crew and the firm action people, that's happening in very cinematic narratively. No dice are being rolled for that. It's just happening.
You don't have a boat plan laid out, and you're not moving around representative figures.
No, this is all theater of the mind stuff. Hand waving sort of deal, and it's going really well. So they are doing things, like and there's some gun battle taking place between the captain and the players. Houston is using his vast array of magic against the players to do various things, right?
Yeah,
And
as I recall, he's kind of a badass.
he does. And so I kind of, rolled, I selected which spells would be most appropriate, and I rolled those, I gave them like a 1 to 4, he's going to use these spells. And then I had the players who were being assaulted roll randomly to see which spell he used. And he burned through his magic points pretty quick, but it didn't matter, because they were definitely being hammered by him, right?
Now, my notes say he's got 35 magic points.
He does. But some of his spells, again, he has one spell that he could use again and again and again and basically spam that thing, and it would be pointless to use any other spell. But I decided that him being this arrogant madman, that he would, do a little bit of variety, right?
He's also got a power of 175.
Yeah, exactly. So all right, he's casting a spell, let's do a resist power roll was interesting, right? It's still possible to do it because, again, it's not, it's not, just, he can still do a normal success even with that, right? And the players can still do an extraordinary success, so they can still beat him.
Or a hard still beats him.
Exactly.
Now I got another question though. I mean, I don't want to bog you down with details, but he also has 90 luck. Do you use luck for the NPCs?
I don't. That just feels like it would be piling on, right? Again, I feel, truly at my disposal is the means to destroy them at any one point, right? So again, if I use all of the tools, they would never have a chance, right? Again, I've got 90 luck. I hit every time. I do an extraordinary success every time. So again, I just feel it would be piling on, right? So again, I didn't, right? I didn't. And they did well, ish, right? There was definitely some people who were wounded. Somebody got zapped with the lightning gun. They managed to
that'll hurt.
It lost a lot of sanity and barely make it over, right? The biggest challenge for them was making it from their ship to the Ivory or to the Dark Mistress, right? They had to clamber aboard. They had to use the grapples that the other crew had, and my guys aren't famous climbers, right? And so they struggled a bit there, but it was very, very fun. Granted, it did take longer than I would have liked, but it was so much fun.
Combat always does.
It does.
Whenever you're boiled down to round by round.
Yeah.
And you have to go around the table. That always kind of bogs it down.
And earlier that day, Matt, you and I had talked with Mike Mason and Paul Fricker, right? And Mike had brought up that, wouldn't it be nice if players did other things in combat besides fight? Right? Remember that? He said, like, in chase rules,
we were talking about the chase rules. Yeah.
In chase rules, you have different options. You can do different things. There are different tests. And so I told my players about that conversation and suggested that they do different things. They decide different things. And they don't always just, a fight isn't, I punched you and you punch me. It's, I intimidate you. Yeah. You're trying to punch me and I intimidate you. Something like that. Those sorts of things. And so they did that. They did some things, and with some success, right? Somebody tried and intimidate on Houston, and it was basically, I treated it like a taunt, right? So he focused his attention on that player and stopped attacking someone he had to drop on, right? So that worked well.
Yeah, well, that's good. Now, I was just thinking, Bob, I think my more experienced role players will do things. They will sort of think outside the box when they are in combat. They will try, they'll make choices that aren't necessarily like, they won't pick a skill, but they'll make a choice that we then use a different skill instead of climbing or brawling.
I kind of disagree with you there, because I feel that more experienced, aka jaded players fall into the routine of fighting, right? Again, I run a lot of games for new players, and I love the ideas that new players come out with, because again,
that is true. They don't. That's a good point. That's a good point.
But needless to say, needless to say, it was a fantastic battle. They defeated the captain in Houston, and they cleaned up the crew, and they took over the Dark Mistress because their boat was sinking. Right, their boat was sinking. So, and that was
Did they kill Houston? Is he?
They did. They did.
Yeah.
Somebody got an extraordinary success on him, popped him right in the noggin, and there he goes. And so that was it. Was So then there was they did get exposed to the thing in the firebox, right? The little radium gizmo there. But I think they made their con roll, so it was very disappointing for me.
Or
so
did
there's
you
no
dial that back? That would be a hell of a way to lose an investigator. You just
but,
stick your head in the oven.
It's not that deadly unless you do repeated exposures to it. And they did it once. Oops, we don't want to mess with that anymore, right? There was, lots of hand wringing over what to do with Houston's body, because again, my players are convinced that the principals from the Carlisle expedition are not really people anymore, that they're some sort of alien beings, because they really did think that they died in the scene in the pyramid where Nyarlathotep showed them being ripped to shreds. So they assumed that those aren't the real people. They didn't think.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. So those are some kind of pod people. Now, has that changed their motivation to go after them? I mean, it certainly hasn't driven or changed the emphasis on them, right?
No. It's just they're more suspicious of them now, right? So they don't view them as humans, even though they are. But again, they're going after them, right? And so then the last part of the session was just them taking the Dark Mistress to the island, to Grey Dragon Island. And of course, I was able to use your wonderful, wonderful map of the island.
That's pretty nice. It's upside down.
Your wonderful, now right side up map of the island. And, of course, nice. That's the little one. And the big one is on the table now. So, what they did is they used that to kind of reconnoiter the island and try to get an approach. They definitely stayed away from any sort of interaction with the villagers whatsoever, even though I felt that I gave them the opportunity to get some cult robes from the boat, and they only had a couple though, so they didn't want to do that. So they've actually went around and took like a little I don't know, not a life raft, but like a little boat, and took it up to the island, and now have clambered up the side of the volcano. And where we ended, Matt, is that they are at the top of the volcano looking down at the whole scene. And so I described the whole scene with all the stuff that's going on in that in that unbelievably rich scene with the rocket and the deep ones, which they don't. I'm not really. I don't use the word, but exactly. I describe them and wander around the room in a loping sort of fashion. Fantastic.
And the bubbling pits, and then there's the slaves with the goo on their head, and it's a big scene. It's a
great scene. And so again, it was like 8:30, and it was like, all right, it's a tiny bit early, but it was even later than that. So it's like, we're not going to start this whole thing. We're going to save the whole thing for tomorrow. I'm playing again, and we're going to have that scene out. We're going to play it all out.
Oh, so you're going week by week trying to catch up to the Ithaca team.
Yes. I'd say I felt that little jibe there. Nice.
Because we're now 2 ahead. We're 2. I played as well, and now we're 2 into Kenya. And I don't know if Kenya's going to go 4 or 5.
Okay.
Kind of what determines it is things like your boat battle. When you add in these different things, it sort of stretches it out. Did you spend an hour and a half at the boat battle?
Oh my gosh, yeah. It was the bulk of the evening, right? But again, I wouldn't have changed it, right? I think that it was a fun scene. It was something new for me too, right? Again, I've run this thing several times, and so it's fun to do things that are new, right? And that was, that's not in the script, so it was great. It was great fun.
It sounds like great fun. And you've got to figure out if you're going to run a proper battle in the volcano.
Yeah. Oh well, there's no chance
because you just ran a proper battle.
Yeah, there's no chance that it won't devolve into some sort of messy affair. To be sure.
Yeah. Were I to do it again, were I to run this thing again, send people into the volcano, I wish I hadn't forgotten about the cult robes right there and let them intermingle, because my team really didn't get off the stairs. The only
Okay.
people that got off the stairs coming into the great cavern there, the great
Yeah.
volcano, were the two people that parachuted in.
Oh yeah, sure, sure.
So it might have been more interesting had they snuck around a bit and got
Okay.
down there on the floor. But you're going to have to figure that out.
Tell me about Kenya. I want to hear it.
Kenya went. So I've got this plan. I'm trying to make Kenya as creepy as possible. So in the year of playing, right, things have happened. We've lost investigators, and over the course of things, some of those investigators have been mentioned again. And I've got one character, the cowboy named Breezy, has long missed this other character, Grace, that died in Egypt. So Breezy, as we continued on into Shanghai, Breezy would occasionally mention, how they miss Grace. So I got a hold under the table before the game. I got a hold of the player that played Grace.
Yeah.
And told her that Breezy is going to sink into a dream and have dinner with Grace, and I would like her to role play Grace in its entirety, like the whole dream sequence.
Yeah.
And all I want you to do, I didn't give her a lot of direction. I said, just try and creep Breezy out.
Yeah.
Like it's all, I keep saying to myself, in the back of my mind, and the written page has this plan that they're trying to do. But if Nyarlathotep is really this elder thing that thinks in a whole different way,
sure,
than human, then who cares what happens? I don't know what the big plan is.
Yeah.
And conversely, not conversely, but along the same veins, I had another player who remember the character that got pinched and pulled into another dimension by a Shambler?
For sure.
I told him I would love to have, he's captured somewhere, and I think I'm going to put him in Maruru's cavern.
Oh, nice.
Hanging there in chains.
Yeah.
So I said, I want you to try to reach out and try to somehow mind contact one of the other players or something. And that player, who is an experienced role player, did that at the perfect time.
Oh, wow.
And further startled the players, and some of the other players at the table who didn't know about any of this and just sort of watched it unfold were very disconcerted that there was this collusion with the keeper from some of the other players. And it really had a nice unsettling effect.
Great.
So the narrative was that they got on the Uganda train line from Mombasa and spent the day going to Nairobi. And on the train, again, I split them up. I've got child's blocks, so I put down simple representations of where the cars are. But I said, I'm not going to put out a map of a train. We did that so many times at Hoto that I don't ever want to do that again. So I ran it as I had envisioned it. In the third class car, which is 2 ahead of the first class car, the witch, Tower Kur, whatever, Tan Kur, whatever her name is, we call her Auntie Kur.
Okay.
Goes into the bathroom and spends half an hour summoning star vampires. So I have a line, and people are hammering at the queue, right? And they're like, what's happening here? Why, I've got to go. And the porter's there, and the porter's trying to open the door. So the player that's playing Isoge, the spy from the Imperial Japanese Navy, he goes up to try to see if he can help. And as he goes to knock on the door, I have the door just open. And there is short little Auntie Kur. And I describe her. She's covered in scarves, and she's got this wild, bad haircut, and she's got this intense look on her eyes. And all of the other train passengers, who are primarily Indian, who are behind the investigator, scream "witch" and scrabble out of the way. And it has got the perfect effect. Yeah. There are 2 investigators on that train that see her. They run for their lives.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
And then so then she's like got a like I claw my hand up and
Yeah, yeah.
and she's saying things like, get out of here. And they say, okay. Nobody pulls a gun to try to
Oh,
shoot her,
oh
right? And
wow.
they're all armed to the teeth.
Sure, sure. That's hilarious.
So meanwhile, she sends the star vampires back, and those star vampires are dangerous buggers.
Yeah, they are.
They the star vampires just tear up that first class and lighten things on fire. I
Yeah.
inflict or one of the investigators gets a mortal wound immediately because he takes some 2d6 damage.
Wow. That's
That's
that's that's smarts.
that's dangerous. Yeah. Uh, but then, interestingly, one of the other characters has an immobilization spell that they've learned, and they
Oh.
cast it and immobilize a star vampire,
Oh wow, that's
which I
impressive.
thought was great. That's great. So now they can just pour a bucket of water on it.
Sure, sure.
And it doesn't drag that scene out forever because those
Hmm.
little flaming balls of light are kind of difficult to deal with.
Yeah, but for sure. No, that's a great way of doing it because they are pain in the neck.
But the other thing, though, is it reminds me how many other chapters there's a building that's been destroyed by those star
Yeah.
vampires. So it was very nice. And I remind them of, remember the burned out building in Egypt? And they're like, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
nice to fold that back in.
Sure.
So we go to Nairobi. And
Hmm.
then things start to unfold pretty quickly. There's a list
Yeah.
of people that they can talk to, but this late in the campaign, half of that list, nobody gives a fuck. I mean, not only
Yeah.
do they
Yeah.
know that the Carlisle expedition survived Kenya, they've killed half of them,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
They drove a plane into Penhu, so they don't really
Yes.
care about that anymore.
Right.
They
Almost.
are they are focused on uh casting the Eye of Light and Darkness at the top of the Mountain of the Black Wind.
Yep.
So they're timing it out. They know that they've got, oh, so now we've got somebody that's got a major wound. He's in the hospital in Nairobi.
Yep.
And they're planning out their approach. How many days is it going to take to go on safari to reach the mountain? Oh, it's going to take these many days. Okay, well, we've got to get there on the night of the full moon. So they did go talk to Kenyatta, Jomo
Hmm.
Kenyatta.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then there's that whole talk to this person, talk to this person, talk to this person, talk to Bundari.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I played the Bundari audio from our friends at HPLHS,
Yeah.
and the team liked that, and I really liked how that audio clip is going to kind of close the whole campaign, much like Jackson Elias's audio clip opened
Opened
the
it.
campaign.
Yep. Sure.
So there's some nice symmetry there. So then, and now we've got moon charts because they have to perform the ritual on the new moon, and the cults all go wild on the cults go wild on the new moon. They have to perform the ritual on the full moon. So
Right.
when the new moon comes, they all hole up in their
Hmm.
hotel, and
Sure.
that's sort
Sure.
of where we left it.
Nice.
So I'm good. So when we start again, I will have consequences of the cults going crazy somehow, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, I'm thinking about how I'm going to fold hunting horrors back in because
Yeah.
hunting horrors are a major component of the various cults,
Yeah.
a main tool. And I like them having limited tools. They can do star
Yeah.
vampires, they can do hunting horrors, but I don't think I want to have a fight with a hunting horror because we've really already had one.
Yes. Okay, that's fair. I was getting ready to call you out on that because again, we've talked about this of reusing the same things again. I think that having a callback to a hunting horror is perfect, right?
Yes.
Having one appear at a ceremony site, grabbing some cultists and devouring them or dropping them to the earth would be great.
Oh yes, or seeing evidence of them.
Sure.
I'm thinking of having him eat old Bundari up. Maybe there's a huge hole in the other neat thing I thought, it's just a little aside, but one of my players has made a character that's a hobo and he's got his
Yeah.
banjo.
Sure.
He wants to, as they're going to get a whole string of porters to go on safari to go to the mountain of the Black Wind.
Yeah, of course they are.
And he's
Yeah.
he's crafted a song that incorporates the chanting bits of the Eye of Light and Darkness spell that he
Oh,
wants
okay.
to teach to the porters. So in
Nice.
effect, he's trying to teach them the spell through song. And I think that's really clever.
That's super great. That's great. I love it. I love it.
It is great. I hate, unfortunately, all the porters are going to run away, which is just a very common trope on Safari. So
it is. They're no dummies, right? I mean, I would run.
But it's such a neat idea that I might let the dice decide. All right, they want to run away, and unless you can somehow persuade them or whatnot to stay, they'll be gone in the morning or something like that.
Fantastic stuff. We have some exciting things ahead of us.
In the chapter, we do. Yeah. We certainly do. And then, Bob, we're getting to the point where I can see the landing runway. We're going to land this campaign, folks. It's really like in a month. I think in a month we'll be done. And I think you definitely have a session, one more in Shanghai.
Yep.
And then I bet you've got through 4 in Kenya. So you're going to go a couple months past us.
Yep. I would say so. With everything that's going on, yeah, for sure. But it's going to be great. I mean, I think we'll still be able to talk. We'll still be able to do muse on this thing. It's going to be a fantastic conclusion to this great campaign.
I think you're right. And it'll be a nice. Is this our first season? Well, this is our first whatever the fuck it is, right? This is the first time we've done this. Our first campaign.
That's right. That's what we should. Our first campaign.
It's our first campaign.
Yeah.
Hey, are we gonna hold another Matt and Bob seminar at Chaosium Con US in April?
I think so, right?
I think we might
6
as well.
People.
We had maybe we can double it because membership has doubled. What's it called? Followers?
Our subscribers. Oh, speaking of subscribe, make sure you subscribe and like this video. There you go. Subtly weave that in there.
Now, this year, though, at Chaosium Con, we'll have little Arcane Keeper buttons.
That's right.
Little pins, and we've got a few of those left, so I will absolutely bring them. Bob, you're a good man and a great keeper.
Thank you, sir. Right back at you.